Hi everyone and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. Just a quick boxing video here just to review the big fight that took place tonight up in Manchester between Joyce of England, Wandsworth, and Hrgovic of Zagreb, Croatia. They fought tonight over 10 rounds in what was in effect a title eliminator, you could say. Two guys at the top end of the division slugging it out. And what a great fight we saw. I've got to say, it wasn't the best in terms of quality, you could argue, but in terms of the heart, bravery, toughness shown by both men, fantastic fight. So I've first got to say, shout out to both of these two guys, really put it on the line. Hrgovic started the fight very quickly, looked much the quicker, much the sharper, predictably landed jabs and right hands over the top. Joyce got off to a slow start, circling, pressing forward, but not really landing too much, certainly in the early rounds. And that was the pattern for the first 3 or 4 rounds, which I gave Hrgovic comfortably. But you could see that Joyce was warming up into the fight, was taking the shots without too much flinching or anything like that, showing amazing toughness as he always does, and coming forward. And the pattern of the fight kind of took a little bit of a change come the mid-rounds. I thought that Hrgovic started to slow down a bit. He was blowing. You could see he was noticeably getting tired. And you could see he was thinking to himself, what have I got to do to get this guy out of here? Added to that, they both got cut. So it was a real war of attrition as well. But I've got to say, I always felt that Hrgovic was in pretty much control of it. If not control, he was definitely landing the better quality shots. He seemed to hurt Joyce on a few occasions. I mean, what Joyce was showing tonight was amazing toughness, amazing bravery, amazing courage. And there was a lot of people, myself included, wonder whether his chin would stand up, given a few of the losses he's had recently. I mean, he got absolutely taken out by Zhili Zhang twice in succession, and then he was floored and beaten by Derek Chisora. So it was quite understandable that a lot of people were questioning that famed or once famed chin that he had. And I've got to say tonight, the chin held up very well. Joyce taking shots cleanly while still coming forward. And if you think about it, that can double the effect of the punch if you're actually walking into the fire, as it were. But not only did he take the punches, he was coming forward and he was starting to get some success. He was going to the body, coming to the head, showed an immense amount of toughness and bravery, I've got to say. But so too did Hrgovic. He took his fair share as well. But I always felt that Hrgovic landed the cleaner shots, the quicker shots. He seemed to have just that little bit more quality. Joyce's punches were a little bit slow. He was a bit methodical. He was plodding around the ring at times. And yeah, I definitely thought that Hrgovic had the edge. What did surprise me, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think, is that the commentary team, I think it was Carl Frampton. Who else was it? I know Carl Frampton was one of them. Carl Frampton, Darren Barker. Those guys seemed to think the fight was close, which certainly surprised me because I didn't think it was close at all. I mean, listen, you've got to give Joyce credit. He was coming forward. He was making the fight. And I give him credit for that. As I said earlier, he showed a lot of bravery, a lot of toughness, a lot of courage. But unfortunately, that doesn't win fights. And I thought that Hrgovic was clearly the winner tonight. I don't see it was a close fight. I mean, Frank Warren after the fight said he thought it was very close. I didn't see that at all. I had Hrgovic comfortable winner. In fact, I think I gave Joyce 3, maybe 4 rounds max. Yeah, max. I mean, I would say 3 rounds I gave him. That doesn't mean to say that some of the rounds weren't close. It was competitive in there. As I said, Joyce, he didn't give up on anything. He was coming forward for the majority of the fight. But the problem with that is he was running into jabs, right hands, left hooks, and he was catching them full on in the face. Most of the quality tonight was landed by Hrgovic. Of that, there can be no doubt. And he did have a little dip in the middle rounds. But I thought by about round 8, he seemed to get a second wind and he was landing some impressive combinations. And like I said, it's amazing how Joyce was able to stand up to that. This guy really does have legendary toughness. I mean, if toughness could win world titles, then Joe Joyce would have been a champion many years ago because he really is that tough, amazingly tough guy. Got to give Hrgovic his credit as well because he showed toughness. He got caught with some clean shots, especially in the mid rounds, and in some of the later rounds he got caught. And sometimes Filip Hrgovic's body language, I've got to say, can look a little bit, how can I put it? He can start to look a bit sorry for himself when he starts to get tired. I've noticed that in a few of his fights now. That was the case when he fought Zhili Zhang. That was certainly the case when he fought Daniel Dubois. And it was the case tonight. He makes fairly fast starts where he looks sharp. He lands big punches. But if the opponent doesn't go down, he can tend to labour a little bit. And then when he gets tired, he has that kind of vacant look on his face, almost as if he's starting to feel a bit sorry for himself. So, but that's just the body language of the man. It doesn't mean to say he's not a tough man. He definitely is. And like I said, you've got to give both guys credit. But I definitely thought that Hrgovic did enough to win. I think the scorecards were unanimous in favour of Hrgovic. I think one judge had it 97-93. One judge had it, I think it was 96-95, which was way too close. The judge that had it 98-92 are probably more in keeping with that. Like I said, I gave Joe Joyce a maximum of 3 rounds. I just didn't think that the quality of his work was enough to give him the rounds. I mean, you could argue that he outworked Hrgovic in a couple of rounds, but certainly Hrgovic threw the better quality shots. He threw more combinations. He hurt Joe Joyce on several occasions. Didn't quite have him down, but he had him rocked and buzzed a number of occasions. I just thought he was the better man in there. And yeah, he was a deserved winner. After the fight, Hrgovic surprised me somewhat. He gave credit to God, and then as these fighters always do, which is quite right. He also gave immense credit to Joe Joyce. But I thought he might have been a bit more, how can I put it? Well, he did call out Daniel Dubois. He did say he wanted a rematch with Daniel Dubois. So yeah, but he wasn't as, how can I put it, enthused as I thought he might be. Maybe that's just the way the man is, but he did say he wanted a rematch with Daniel Dubois. I must say on this showing, I can't see him beating Daniel Dubois. As for Joe Joyce, he said that he wanted to do it again. They were talking about it was 1-1 because if you recall, Joe Joyce had beaten Filip Hrgovic. I think it was back in 2013 when they were both amateurs. They fought in the WSB. Joe Joyce on that occasion won a split decision in a very close competitive fight. And so obviously Hrgovic winning tonight, Joe Joyce was saying that they're 1 each and that they should do it again. Now listen, Joe Joyce is a hell of a tough man. He's got amazing toughness. He's very brave. He's very courageous. But I've got to say this, man. I think it's time to retire for Joe Joyce. I think it's quite sad in a way watching him take all those shots tonight and not able to really do much about it. I mean, he's never had a defense of note. But at least previously he was able to ride some of the shots a little bit better. Now he's just getting caught flush. I mean, the surprising thing for me is that his chin held up, taking those shots round after round for 10 rounds. I mean, when he got dropped by Chisora, when he got flattened by Zhili Zhang, I was one of those that was questioning his chin. But tonight his chin held up very, very well. However, having a tough chin can be at the cost of your long-term health. And I honestly think that Joe Joyce should retire. I think those close to him need to have that conversation because I think it's pretty apparent that he's not going to win a world title at this stage in his career. He's 39 years old now. He has 4 defeats in his last five fights. He's been stopped in 2 of those quite brutally. And this man ships a lot of punishment. I mean, he always did, but he's shitting it even more now. And yeah, literally every right hand that Filip Hrgovic threw tonight in earnest was landing and landing flush. And these sorts of fights and the punches and the damage is cumulative. And I really do think that someone like Joe Joyce needs to be protected from himself. So I really do hope that the people around him, I know he's very close to his mum. I really hope that the people around him sit him down and have that conversation with him. I mean, obviously, it's down to the man himself. And as we all know, fighters do not tend to retire, especially when they're coming off losses. But, you know, because they always think they can get it back again. I mean, it was interesting in the ring after the fight. Joyce was calling out Hrgovic for a third fight. I mean, that's in keeping with how tough and brave the man is. But like I said, he needs to be protecting from himself. He's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. He's on the road to nowhere, really. Let's be honest. He's not going to win a world title. He's been a very, very good fighter. A much decorated amateur, Olympic silver medalist, should have been gold. But yeah, he's reached the end of the road as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, that's sad, but that's how it goes, man. Boxing ultimately is a young man's sport. Joyce has done his thing. He's fallen short of what he might have felt is his expectation, but he's still been a credit to himself and to boxing, and I would like to see him retire from boxing. But yeah, that's it from me. Like I said, it was a very entertaining fight. Lots of ebb and flow. Lots of action. These 2 guys really put it on the line. But ultimately, Filip Hrgovic proved to be the better man and was a deserved winner. But that's all from me. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I mean, with Joyce, I'm especially keen to know from you guys. Do you think he should carry on boxing? Like I said, I'm very strongly of the opinion that he should retire. But it looks like he's going to carry on, which saddens me somewhat. He's been a great fighter. If not a great fighter, he's been a great, servant to boxing. But I do think now is the time for him to call it a day. But that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next one. I am out.